Good morning, students. Today we will start our chapter 12, and our today's topic is the sun, moon, and we'll learn about who had land on the moon. So, first of all, we'll learn about the sun. You know that sun is a huge ball of hot burning gases. It has a thin layer of air around it called corona. It is about 150 million kilometers away from the earth. It has a diameter of about 13 lakh 92,000 kilometers, and it is about 109 times bigger than the earth's diameter. These all are the basic information about the sun, and you know that the sun is the nearest star to the earth. Okay, that's why its distance from the earth is 150 million kilometer. Next is, it is made up of hydrogen and helium. The sun is made up of hydrogen and helium, and the hottest part of the sun is its core. At the center of the sun is the part that is core, and it is the hottest part of the sun. In the core, hydrogen changes into helium, and when it changes into helium, a large amount of heat and light energy released. Okay, a very large amount of heat and light energy released out. Fine. Now the next is the temperature on the surface of the sun is about 6000 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature on the earth's surface, on the sun's surface, on the surface of the sun. And at the center of the sun is about, that means at the center means at its core, means at the center of the sun, that means its core, the temperature is 15 billion degrees Celsius. This is the temperature at the center of the sun. Now our next topic is the moon. Okay, so we will learn about the moon. You know that the moon is the natural satellite of the earth. The distance between the moon and the earth is about 3,84,400 kilometers. That means the moon is this much kilometers away from the earth. The moon's diameter is about 3,500 kilometers, and the moon's gravity is 1/6 of the earth's gravity. That means if our weight is 36 kg on the earth, then it will be just 6 kg on the moon. And there is no atmosphere on the moon, and as there is no atmosphere, so the side that receives sunlight is very hot and the other side of the sun is very cold. No sound can be heard on the moon due to the absence of air. As there is no atmosphere, so the sound cannot can so no sound can be heard on the moon, because sound needs a medium to travel, and as there is no air, sound cannot we travel on it. And one of the most important thing about the moon is that it shines because it reflects the sunlight that falls on it, as it do not have its own light. Okay, the moon do not have its own light. It shines because it reflects the sunlight that falls on it. And the moon is basically made up of rocks. It is spherical in shape and made up of rocks. It doesn't made up of gases. It is made up of rocks. Students, you can see these are the craters. These are the hollows or holes, big round holes that are formed when the pieces of rocks called meteoroids crash into the surface of the moon. Means when the debris or the small pieces of rocks, which are known as meteoroids, when they fall on the surface of the moon, then these big round holes or hollows are formed on the moon's surface, and that are known as craters. Okay, so the surface of the moon is basically covered with craters, mountains and valleys. The surface of the moon is not plain. There are so much depressions and craters are there. Next, you will see that the footprints of the persons on the moon's surface, as there is no air or wind, so the astronauts who land on the surface of the moon, their footprints will remain there forever, because as there is no air, no wind blows, so footprints will remain as it is on the surface of the moon. So this is a picture of an astronaut's footprint on the surface of the moon. Now students, you will see the picture of three persons. These three persons were the first astronauts, three American astronauts who first landed on the moon. So there are some information about the persons who landed on the moon. First of all, the spacecraft which was used, or in on which the astronauts went on the moon, was Apollo 11, and it was 21st July 1969 when the three American astronauts Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins, they were first stepped on the moon. Okay, and the first person was Neil Armstrong. After Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and at last Michael Collins was stepped on the moon. Okay, and means Michael Collins, yeah, Michael Collins remained in the spacecraft, whereas the Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin stepped on the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin stayed for 2.5 hour, मीन्स 2.30 2.5 hours के लिए वो मून पर रहे थे, एंड दे कलेक्टेड सम सैम्पल्स to bring back to the earth. That means they had collected some rock samples which were there on the moon, and then they brought that samples on the earth for the further findings. Now our next topic is the phases of the moon. You know that the moon seems to change their shape every day. The shape of the moon changes, varies day to day. Okay, and these different shapes of the moon, as we see them from the earth, or that is visible from the earth, are known as phases of the moon. So the shape of a particular phase depends on the sunlit part, that means on which part the sunlight falls on the moon, that can be visible to us from the earth. The means that part of the moon which has sunlight on it, that part will be visible to us, and the rest of the part will not be visible to us. So based on that, there are different phases of moon, in which the first one is new moon. That means there will be no sunlight on the moon, it will remain complete dark. Then some part of it gets sunlight, so it will be known as crescent moon. Then half moon, then gibbous moon, in which major part of the moon gets light. Then there is a full moon, on which the sunlight will be fall on the complete moon, means the moon got complete sunlight on it, that will be the full moon. So all these are the phases of moon. That's all for today, students. Have a nice day.